Hey guys, it's Nancy and Vince from A Livin' Podcast, and we are also your 2025 ambassadors for The Longest Table.
We are raising some much-needed funds for the Hospital Research Foundation this year by throwing our very own event, More Livin' Christmas in July.
So put on your daggy sweater, let's raise some much-needed funds for the Hospital Research Foundation. Only 120 tickets available, so be quick. The link is in our bio.
Do not miss it. It's really the present that keeps on giving.
It really is, and thanks to our major sponsors, the Christmas Heirloom Company. Come join us.
We'll see you there.
They
Have I
may.
said too much on the podcast? Is it already too public?
Oh, I don't know. You choose. You can always cut it. That's
Well, you know
the
what?
beauty we have.
Am I living?
Oh, what a funny thing to say.
You clearly, that was too much for you, huh?
But I like it.
Okay.
That was a do-over.
All right.
Because that's where I want
On
to
a cloudy day. Right. Gotcha.
be. Got me? You're picking up what I'm putting down.
Picking it up.
Picking it up.
Picking it up.
Not sure if I'd keep it. I'd pick it up. I'd have a look at it. Give it a sniff.
We're really confusing our listeners right now.
Are we there?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Monday.
Happy Monday to you.
And another episode of A Livin' Podcast with your hosts, Nancy.
And Vince. And I don't know why we said it so suspiciously.
Ooh.
Nancy
And
Vince. No. Yeah, do you think that was confusing at the top? It would be,
It
because
depends, yes,
depends on where I cut it.
correct.
Oh, they're going to be like, what were they talking about at the top
I
of the
know,
show?
I know. Well, I'm going to leave that to you when you do your little edit.
I'm going to leave it to you to fill in the blanks.
Right, okay.
To anyone listening, they could be like, you can make what you want of that. Fill in the caption. That's what it's going to be in competition.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
like it.
so today's topic is...
Oh, no, we're just straight into it. No foreplay today.
no, straight in. Excuse me.
Sorry, you know what it is? I've been
Excuse
listening to the radio a lot this week, and they have a segment called Foreplay at the moment, where you have to listen to 4 songs in a row and name the artist and songs sequentially. And I think it's just a great name, Foreplay.
It is, it's great.
Anyway.
Are you where you want to be? Are you where you want to be in your life, in your relationship, in everything?
Right now.
Are you where you want to be? And we're talking about this because we've had a conversation, you and I, haven't
Several
we?
times.
Many times, but yeah. And it's like, if you were to ask me, am I where I want to be? In a lot of aspects, yes, 100%. But in some, no.
Yeah.
I'd have to admit that there's things still that I feel a little bit underdone for me, and I feel a little bit down on myself about it. I feel like, am I still not exactly where I want to be?
And that's a really...
And I'm talking career maybe, more so than anything else.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
talking career. But I'm, and I think it's coming from, and I say this all the time, that stupid milestone that I'm coming up, has got me questioning a lot of things. Okay.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm still 15 probably in terms of the passion and drive of the things I want to achieve. But the matter of fact is I'm not 15 years old. But I've still got that. So I'm like, some days I get down on myself like, Nance, just let it go. And it's like, no, why let it go? I've got that I'm button heads with at the moment with where I'm at. And have I ticked all my boxes? And I suppose you never tick all your boxes in life, but there's still a few more things I want to achieve.
Well, like I was starting to say before, that's a really subjective and a very, very big question that only one person can answer, isn't it?
Yes, I know.
Because you're saying, like, are you where you want to be? And now, look, I think that good on you for saying no. In most ways,
some-
yes.
yeah,
Most
yeah.
ways, yes. But in some other ways, no. And I think that that's pretty fair for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I think that if you were to look at yourself and
Yeah.
you're driving in the car this morning on the way to work, on the way to school, or you're sitting at home, maybe you're in, I don't know, just stop where you are and just think, is this where I want to be? Is this where I wanted to be, where I expected to be? And it can be not just on a life scale of like, am I at this age and achieved what I wanted to achieve or thought, or done what I thought I would have done by this age, versus the reality, the minutiae of the day. Do I want to be, am I where I wanted to be at, let's say 37 now? What did I think 37 would look like? I thought when I was younger that
Yeah.
37 for me, if I had stayed on the trajectory of singledom
Yeah.
and career in the
Yeah.
arts, my vision was always I would be living overseas, making millions of dollars, just being the poster boy of Hollywood.
Okay.
Okay, that's the
Yeah.
that's the absolute dream that
Yeah.
was put in front of me and
Yeah.
that I accepted and I wanted growing
Yeah.
up very
Yeah.
much. It was always performance based.
Yeah.
I also wanted to be a husband, a father,
Yeah.
happy. I wanted to make enough money to be comfortable.
Yep.
And I wanted to have my time.
Yeah.
I didn't want to wear a shirt and tie every day.
Yeah.
So when
Yep.
I look at the detail of those things, do I wear a shirt and tie every day? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Am I married? Yes. Do I
Yes.
have children? Yes. Do I have the love of my life and the support of my best friend? Yes.
Yes.
Do I have happiness inside of myself? Yes.
Yes.
Do I have my time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
And no, because there are compromises on that
Yeah.
that we all have to make. Some of us have to,
Yeah.
you've got to have jobs and whatnot to make ends meet. I get it. But you can design it. We're going to come back to that.
Yeah.
Am I making enough money that I'm comfortable? Yes.
Yeah.
And I can say that even though, like, yes, times are tough, cost of living's high,
Yeah.
but it's in those moments as well when you do a self-reflection or a comparison on
Yeah.
the average Australian,
Correct. Correct.
where I say, yes, it's tough and we're still doing better than
Yes, because
60 to 70% out there.
only last night on the news, and I can say that as well, like, you know, comfortably and thankfully I can say that because only last night on the news there was the lady that admitted, a mother of 4, who has begun stealing in order to feed her family.
Okay, right. So that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
When
so
people
that's
are at
why
that point that
we're
the
earning
cost-
enough.
and the cost is outrageous.
Yes.
And yes, we're cutting back in areas, but there are things that we don't go without.
Yes.
That I know that others consider them luxuries.
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
also like, okay, well, I'm in that position.
Yeah.
So I am where I want to be in
Mm-hmm.
those things. Is there anything missing? I'll tell you the things that I believe in my head that I go, oh, that's not where I want it to be right now, are purely material things.
Okay.
I would love to have a Porsche 911 in the garage,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Because as a kid and even now, like that's the dream car. You grow up wanting that. You don't grow up wanting a Mazda 121. You grow up wanting a 911.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, is that where I thought I would be? But then I'm also like, I'm only 37.
Correct. Correct.
I'm only 37. I'm a baby. And
Yeah.
this is where I think that scale of life and perspective comes into play. Because when you're 18, you feel like you've done so much and you're 6 foot tall and bulletproof and you can take on the world. And then you get to 21 and you're like, oh, 18 was so young. And then you get to 25 and you go, 21 was a baby. I was a baby
Yeah.
at 25. And then you get to 28 and you're like, geez, I'm getting to 30. Then you get to 30 and you're like, wow, this is fantastic. I feel like I know who I am. I'm a bit
Yeah.
more confident. I'm not taking shit. And you start figuring out who's dropped off, who's joining you on this journey of life.
Do you need me to take over for the next 2? The next 2
The next 2
decades?
milestones, because I got to 30.
Do you want me to take over?
Yeah, go on.
And then you get to 40 and you think, oh, yeah, for me, it was like I wasn't a mum yet.
But circumstantially, different
I
circumstances.
know. But yeah, then you start thinking all those things.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you get to the next one and you think,
But okay, so and this is the difference though. Like I was actually, I'm really surprised at how this is affecting you and how it is
Yeah.
impacting you, because I really thought that you would approach it so differently and positively, because we share a lot of perspective, I think, and a lot of good
Yeah.
approaches to things.
Yes.
And one of the things that we've often spoken about is age and
Yes.
the energy.
Yeah.
And it is just a number, and you
Correct.
can be 50 but feel 16.
Yeah.
And it's the energy you bring.
yeah,
But I can see how this number in front of you it's making
Daunting.
you it's daunting. I
Yeah.
can see the fear in your eyes.
and I'm hoping it's exactly what happened 6 months before turning 30.
Yeah.
I went through this because the number, it just sounded wow.
Really?
Yep. And then 6 months before turning 40, I went
Same
through this.
thing.
And then I remember everyone saying, well, when you turn 30, it's the best time of your life. And I remember about 6 months in, I was like, this is the best.
100%.
Exactly the same, 40. The lead up got me good. But then I was like, this is the best.
See,
so
I think
I'm hoping.
I feel like I'm approaching all of them because I'm hearing 30's the best, 40's the
Yes.
best, 50's the best. I'm not ever daunted by it. I'm like, I can't wait to get there, because if this is good now and it's great,
yeah.
it can only get better.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
but when you go, okay, so what are the things that you want to be? Again, am I where I'm not as fit as I would have liked to have been at 37? Mm-hmm. I'm fit, but I'm not as fit. I
Yeah.
would love to be more toned. I would love to be stronger. I would love to probably feel a little bit more confident in my own skin when I'm not in front of people.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I know what you're
Because I'm
saying.
comfortable in my own skin. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. But like sometimes when I'm just by myself, I can question myself. I'd love to be a bit more like the person I am in front of people.
Yeah. Yes. I know exactly what you mean. I know. But what I'm saying is, even if you're not where you want to be, are you heading in the right
Yes.
direction?
Well, this is what I wanted to bring out. I brought
Heading
some.
in the right direction. Do you remember that song?
I do. For your
Loving
loving
and affection.
I do. I brought some things with me
I
today.
knew you. Oh, I saw you digging papers out before, and I thought, we're getting serious.
Only because, right?
Yes.
This is what I do with people. I do it with businesses, do it with people as a coach, right?
Yeah.
And even myself, the plumber needs to do the plumbing on his own house.
Yeah.
Okay? So even when I'm a strategist for other people, I've got to strategize for myself.
Yeah.
Saying I probably don't do enough of.
Yep.
But a few years ago, I left a very big, important job. And I said to you, and you're someone who reminded me of it recently, which I loved, right? Because I was like, I'm not spending enough time with my kids that I want. And yes, it's going to be impactful because I'm not going to make the same money. I'm not going to have job security.
Yep.
But I'm not going to not miss this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to miss their time. I'm not going to have that back again. So by design, quit my job, start my business. What is it going to look like? And I wanted to, what do I want? I asked myself, where do I want to be? I wanted to have my time now. So I wanted to do all that. So I basically
Put your plan
time
in place.
blocked, put my plan in place. You don't have to zoom in too much, but like color coded my time blocking of what my days would look like.
Lovely colouring in.
Do you love that?
You
Thank
stayed
you.
in the lines.
I did. I
Very
skipped reception
good.
for that. Went straight to year one. But basically, like on my perfect days, what would my ideal day look like if I could choose
Yeah.
it? It would be wake up at 6, spend time with the kids, get them ready for school, drop
Yep.
them off
Yep.
every morning,
Yep.
and pick them up at 3, which then
Yep.
does limit your work hours. As a business owner,
Oh,
people were
gosh.
like, "Oh, so hang on, you're only going to work in those 6 hours every day," and I go, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I will make it work."
Yeah.
Because this is, what are my non-negotiables? What do I want to get what I want?
But that shits me a little bit in the workplace, right? Because of course you're going to get it done in those hours. Because if you work till 5:30, you're going to have an hour or a 30-minute lunch break.
An hour?
Which, well, I'm just saying.
100%.
So it's like you could eat as you're going.
Plus
and
coffee
get it.
breaks.
Exactly.
Plus the conversations I'm going to have that are incidental.
Yes.
Whereas, like, again, if I can plan it the way I want to
100%.
by design.
Yeah.
And so I did this. And I did this for about a year. And then I
Yeah.
picked up another client that required me on site for 2 days of the
Yeah.
week. And I was like, that'll work. I've got other clients I'm on site with during the week. It can work.
I was hesitant.
You were hesitant. Many people were. But it meant that I would be leaving home. So immediately I'm leaving home at 7 a.m. I'm not getting back till 6 p.m.
Yeah.
on these days. So our schedules are thrown into disarray. I can see the behaviors of the kids are changing because we're spending less time together. Our connection is changing. I'm feeling frustrated from the back and the forth of
Yep.
commuting so far every
Yep.
week.
Yep.
And then I'm like getting frustrated and resentful about it at myself. And I'm like, is this where I want to be? And it was you who, when I said one day, I was like, I think I need to make some changes. And you said, Vin, can I just remind you, I've seen that drawing and it was this one. And you said, by design, you had 8 hours a day with your kids by design and you were loving it and thriving and getting what you wanted.
Yeah.
Bring that back. And there was that conversation as well with Joya afterwards that I said to her, I said, look, I think absolutely. I designed this. I had this. And now I feel like I'm not where I want to be. And she's just gone through the same thing.
And
changing
like
jobs.
you said, creatively, your juices were flowing because your cup was full.
My cup was full.
In
Like
all
even
the
this week, I've
areas.
done drop-offs.
Yes.
4 out of 5 this week.
Correct.
And it's so much more fun. Like my
Yeah.
days feel fuller. They feel richer. I
Yeah.
feel like I've got more to give.
Yeah,
It's where I want to be.
correct.
But you know, like you said, what are the things stopping you?
Yeah,
So the things that were stopping me was my perception of what I believed a 9 to 5 would be. And this is a big one for a lot of people, especially with the way that we work these days. People go, if I'm not working 9 to 5, I don't have a proper income.
Yeah.
But 9 to 5 doesn't mean 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
You might work 4 p.m. till 10 p.m.
correct. Exactly
You
right.
might work 9 a.m.
Yeah.
to 10 a.m. and then
correct. Pick it
2
up later.
p.m. to, you know, I'm just trying to think, what are those businesses that are like, it's like the passport places.
Yeah.
Like you can go
Oh,
see
yeah.
the Italian consulate between 9 a.m. and 9:25
They're on
and
Italian
between
time.
3:15 and 3:22.
Yeah.
Like there's 7 minutes of the day that you can see. That's it. But it's about planning. So I've got
Yes.
some things that I thought you could either take with you. It's like this is a daily planner,
Yeah.
right? That you can just start outlining, what do you want for the week? A weekly overview.
Yeah.
And I think when you do it on a micro scale, it then applies to the macro.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's small incremental changes that
Mm-hmm.
you can make to your day-to-day that will become the permanent rhythm, the routine.
Yep.
And those small steps get you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
So if it is like, where do I want to be in the career?
Yeah.
Where is it that you want to be? Is it, I want to be known? I want more work. I want more paid gigs. I want to change career. I want a job place that values me. I want, if you're someone who sits in an office, do you want to be sitting in an office? Do you want to be out doing other things creatively? What are the steps you need to take to get there?
Yeah.
How do you, and a lot of the work I've done over the last few years, Nance, with clients, both personal and professional clients, has been, how do I turn my side hustle into
Yeah.
a full-time job?
Yeah. Yeah. The main money maker.
And that's really become, that's an outcome of COVID.
Yeah.
Because after COVID, everyone was like, oh, we don't have to leave home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So everyone got a new side job,
Correct.
started a business,
Correct.
but then they don't know when do you make the tip?
Yeah.
So it's about planning. It's about strategy. It's about knowing where you are, what you want, and being clear. And then what are your non-negotiables on the way?
Yeah.
Because there are going to be things that you're going to have to let go of.
Of course. Of
And,
course.
and in doing that, that's hard as well, because letting go of something that you don't have something to replace it with immediately can be daunting
yeah.
for anybody.
Yeah.
But you sometimes have to let it go in order to create space
Yeah.
for something else to come,
Correct.
mentally, physically, spiritually.
And we touched a little bit on this when we had Beck Morse on recently. We
Yes.
Feel
Great
the
episode.
Fear.
Yes.
When we talked about, one of my blocks is selling myself.
Yes.
And that could be the same block that's stopping me from just getting exactly where I want to be
Same.
at this point
Yep.
in my
Because
life.
is it like not a fear, but it's like the uncomfortability of like, I don't want to be in people's faces all the time, because I also
Yeah.
don't want them to think negatively upon me for always being in their face doing what I'm doing. And I don't want them to think I'm just showing what I'm showing it off.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm just sharing what I'm doing and just
Yeah.
living my life.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I really thought about this week was like, I'm just going to live my life.
Yep.
And we've said that a lot on this show.
Yep.
So we got to do it.
Yep.
Because that's the other thing is it's all good to say it.
Yeah.
And you can say it, that's half the thing, but you
Yeah.
got to do it. You got to put it into action.
Yeah.
So that means being uncomfortable for a while, making the unfamiliar familiar,
Yes.
making the comfortable uncomfortable,
Yep.
and vice versa.
Yep. There's a lot of people out there when I'm trying to think of one bloody example now, and of course I can't. But there's a lot of people that have had a complete career flip.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they've studied law and now they're doing something completely different.
I know
do
so
you know what
many.
I mean?
Like, can I tell you? I know so many creatives that are. Oh, I'm a qualified lawyer.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I did that for a few months. Did it for a year or so in Melbourne. Hated it. Came back. Look at Yanni from 68 Roses.
Yes, absolutely.
Great example.
And is our mate Nacho not a qualified physio?
Yes, he is. Hello.
And he's one of the best video content
Videographers in the state.
videographers that
not
you will
country.
ever find.
100%.
And see? So
I think that there's, but that's where like the sea change comes in, because again, you're chasing, what do I want? What do I really value? I did not want to be in an office for 8 hours a day.
yes, 100%. I was the same, and I did, and I was that person for a bit,
And it kills your soul.
And it
But
just wasn't
that's
me.
where depression comes in. That's where the anxiety
Yeah.
starts building, because that's when the avatar, the mask that
Yeah.
we're wearing is saying, I've had enough. I
Yeah.
can't actually hide this anymore. It's coming
Yeah.
to a head. I'm going to fucking kill someone in this office. I'm going to go postal in here.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get a staple in the forehead.
And
Or I
this
need
is
to walk away.
and this is why sometimes I have had the side eyes. I've definitely had the side eyes of sometimes that I do 10 hours a week still in retail, right? Why? For a few reasons. Keeps money flowing when
Always.
there's no
Cash
other
flow,
work.
cash
So there's cash flow. But really, why? And I went back to it after having Jaden, after having quite a bit of time off, because it keeps me moving.
Yeah.
It keeps me talking to people.
Yep.
It keeps me helping people.
So you're in
It
service.
keeps.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So don't look down on me, peeps, because it actually fills my cup in a lot of ways. Doesn't necessarily fill my bank account, but hey, it keeps a flow going. But do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
There's more to it. And other people that, sometimes it's a good business decision. Am I getting discount? Am I saving on there's so many ways you could look at things.
100%. But again, like I think for anyone to look down on retail or anybody who's looking down on anybody working any job, any job, if you are scraping gum off of the railings at the train station and that is your job, then I applaud you.
Yeah.
If you are doing it with dignity and you're doing it with
100%.
pride and you are doing it for whatever reason.
And it's putting food on the table for your family.
No one has any right to judge that.
There's a job for everyone.
Because I think anybody who is judging somebody else who's doing that job says more about the person doing the judging.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? And again, like as someone who has worked from the bottom of almost every organisation I have worked in, I have at least done every aspect of it, from sweeping the floors, cleaning the toilets,
that's right,
to CEO level.
Yep.
And I would do it again 1,000 times over. I'm happy to sweep the floor of an empire. You know what I mean? And still be at the top of the chain. I think that's so important because it gives you humility. It helps you understand that you are actually a part of a bigger community.
And when I was doing everything, while I was home with Jaden, I was still doing stuff. I was still emceeing. I was still performing occasionally.
We were still at the Royal Show every year.
I was still doing all of that, and I was still working in promotions at the radio station and stuff. All of those things, and I had my little side hustle, my little oil business. Most of the things was by myself.
Yeah.
So that's where I craved that contact again with people. And even now, I could. Even for a short time, I could quit like that.
Yeah.
My job, 10 hours a week. I'm sorry, but with my background, do you think I'm not going to get a 10-hour-a-week job in retail
No,
again?
100%.
I could easily quit it. Easily. For a short, to give it a go.
100%.
But those 10 hours are actually giving me something.
100%.
They're giving me something.
They're part of the puzzle. So they're part of your puzzle. So again, like you keep that in there. I would keep that in there as a known variable at this point. It's the known factor.
Yeah.
It does bring cash flow, whatever. But like you said, more than that, it brings fulfillment to you on a personal level. So let's keep that in your weekly plan, right?
Yeah.
If you were to say, like, what do I want? So let's just say right now you keep Tuesday or whatever days that you do work. Nobody needs to know your cutsies. What's your Medicare number next?
And my fingerprint.
Just sign here. Perfect. Yeah. But you know what I mean? So you go, okay, what else do I want around that?
Yeah.
And it was a bit like, even when we first started this project, we were coming out of COVID and coming into not just time, but then we were like, Friday is our day.
Yeah.
It was in the plan.
Yes.
We knew it every week, non-negotiable.
We loved it.
If someone goes, you free on Friday? Nah.
No.
I'm busy.
Yes, 100%. And we're going to get back to that.
Well, it's the beginning of it now because, again, this last 6 to 8 months have been so, disrupted for both of us, finding our rhythm, more so me with, my work-life balance at the moment. But, again, having that has been so disruptive that it's like, well, no, that needs to go back on.
Yeah.
What are the things that are serving me?
Yeah.
And even so, yes, there are seasons, and specifically, for me this year, it's been business and family that have really taken the spotlight since, earlier this year.
Yeah.
But now, this quarter, I feel like I can see through the woods of those things.
Yep.
Business is settling. We've done the scaling up. We've done the new acquisitions. We've got new staff and team and family are under control, and everyone's found their rhythm with school. And, it's that I'm recalibrating, much like you are at this point.
Yeah.
What do we want? What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
For those of you listening, what do you want? Are you where you want to be? What needs to happen? The steps are define it. Number one, write the target. I want to be, I will be, I am going to be.
Yeah.
This is where the end goal is. Then where are you now? Define the gap. Then you have to write down what are the changes that need to happen to close that gap. And then it's the actions. And it might be little bit by little bit every day.
Yep.
If it's I know lots of people that I'm working with currently are I want out of my job. I'm not happy with my job. Okay. So you need to be applying for other jobs that align with that. But I'm applying for so many, I'm not getting anywhere. Great. Keep applying.
I know.
Because you miss 100% of the shots you don't shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not even taking actions, it's like that old joke. Do you remember that old joke about the guy who prays to God every week? God, please let me win the lotto. Please get me out of these problems. Let me just win the lottery. And every week he doesn't win, and he prays and he prays and he prays, and then he has a dream one night, and God comes to him in a vision, and God goes, Peter, let's just say his name's Peter, Seems biblical enough. Peter, listen, you keep praying for me to get you to win the lotto, but mate, you've got to buy the ticket.
Oh.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You got to buy the ticket.
Yeah,
You've
yeah,
actually
yeah.
got to do the work. You've got to do
Yeah.
what you need to do to be in the running. You can't just expect it to happen. And that goes for everything. Where you want to go in life, every choice you make, every
Yep.
choice will have an outcome.
Yep.
Sometimes those outcomes are foreseeable, and sometimes you know it's not the outcome you want, but it is part of the pathway to get there. You have to endure some things sometimes.
Yep.
But remember that you're the driver in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Get in the driver's seat.
Yes.
Don't be a
Yes.
passenger.
Yes.
Because I think that's what happens is sometimes when people get comfortable, they get comfortable in life.
Yeah.
And they go, how did I get here?
Yeah.
How did I end up working in a job that I hate? How did I end up with friends that don't friend me?
Yeah.
How did I end up with people that I don't even like?
Yeah.
I'm just a passenger in life.
Yeah.
And that's when you see people make these big changes or these quarter life crisis,
Yeah.
half life crisis, whatever
Yeah.
it is, midlife crisis.
Yeah.
But it's like if we remember at all points, I'm in control.
Yeah.
I have full autonomy and I have choices. My choices are mine. Not everyone's going to agree with them. Not everyone's going to understand them. They don't have to, as long as I know where I'm going.
I hear you, bro.
You feel that?
I feel it. I feel it.
Hope
I
you feel
it.
that if you're listening. Hope that's a deep one for you.
I hope that you get to reflect. And if you are exactly where you want to be and are happy to be, good on you because you've gotten yourself there. So give yourself a pat on the back.
I love it. I'm so excited. Like I put on my t-shirt, my denim jacket today, and I went,
Yeah.
"Oh, I've got meetings today," and I was like, "No, I've earned my right to wear my t-shirt. This is where I want to be."
Absolutely. So we hope you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week.
Oh, love it. Have a wonderful day. Get out there. Go control your life. Get control of your life.
Correct.
guys. Love it.
Keep living.
Perfect. They do what they say on the box. So yeah, you take this one. You fill that one out.
Yes, I will.
Right.
I've got homework.
You got homework, mate.
Cool.
It'll be a test next week. And just one more time. I think you missed,
Fingerprint
you
didn't
missed the
work.
number on the Medicaid number.
Passport.